Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
perfect.
Yep.
All right. Well, welcome to actually our third and final day of this virtual event week. I heard and I've seen that it's been amazing. So thank you so much for those who just joined right now, and thank you so much for our amazing hotel who we're gonna talk to in a bit, the Grand Hotel in Alabama. So welcome everyone. And so my name is Diana. I am a career consultant here at HRC International, and I will be the moderator for this day. And to kick us off and to start us off, if I can please have Walter, and then we will continue with Mike and Tiffany from the hotel, who's going to talk to us a little bit more about, their So, Walter, if you can please, oh, sorry, I am so
Yes.
sorry.
Y-
Let's have a little bit of the rundown for you guys. So, we'll start with the opening of Walter, our HRC international leader. Um, then we will continue, like I said, with the introduction of the Grand Hotel. We'll have a little talk show, talk about the career development, and also about the J1 program. And then we'll close with some questions that you might have about not only HRC, the program, or to the hotel as well. And then we'll move quickly after this to the interviews that some of the candidates will have directly with Tiffany or with Mike. So thank you once again. And now, Walter, please, take the floor.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me, Diane? Hello?
Yes. We can hear
Yes,
you.
good. Excellent. I just want to make sure. Okay. First of all, my name is Wouter de Graaf. I'm the Senior MD for HRC International. I'd, of course, like to welcome the Grand Hotel and thank you for joining us today. And I would like to welcome everybody that is joining us here to potentially seek a placement through HRC. So, and of course, thank you to the HRC International team for organizing this. It's been a great event for the last 2 days, so I'm sure today is not going to be any less. So what I just want to talk about real quickly, and I'll keep it short, I'll promise, is that I'm actually started 2 months ago at HRC as the new MD, and 30 years ago, I was the first or one of the first graduates that got placed by HRC in Atlanta during the Olympic Games. And that was an amazing experience. And for me, it really set my career. I traveled from at the end from the US all over the world, as far as Oceania, back to Asia. My focus has mainly been around opening luxury hotels, managing and opening luxury hotels. I've been area general manager in the South Pacific for a group of hotels. So it truly gave me a fantastic career, and I couldn't have done it without my start at HRC, which really not only was for my career, but I actually, a year later, someone else from HRC came to the same hotel as where I was at, and that lady became my wife. So also my personal life, I think, to HRC, and I got two wonderful girls. So my entire life really, has come to a full circle now, being able to work with the amazing team at HRC International and to help you hopefully in your endeavors and your career. So thank you very much. Enjoy this session today, and we're looking forward to doing more.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Walter. And it's crazy how and amazing how these circles are closed, right? So I also did J1, well, not entirely a whole year, but part of work and travel, which also gave me this entrance to amazing opportunities, also getting to know other cultures. And I think that that's kind of what this is all about, right? Just getting to get to explore, get to grow, get to gain more skills, and get to train in these amazing properties, such as the one we have today. So Let's also get to know a little bit about HRC International, Vanteo company. So as I mentioned, I am a career consultant here at HRC International, and I am a direct contact with possibly a couple of you candidates. Let's just talk a little bit of how it is, who we are, and what we do, which is very, very important, and also the relationships that we have been able to build throughout the years with our amazing employers. So basically, it all starts with our team. We have an amazing team, a very international team, I must say. And we've assisted more than 8,500 hospitality professionals since 1995, when it was started here in the Netherlands, actually. So part of Walter, who started it all. We have offices in the US, here in the Netherlands, in Kenya, in France, Mexico, Indonesia, and Argentina. And yes, many of you guys might have seen, have entered at HRC International. Hopefully you did. Then you can see a little bit of the vacancies that we have now open. So what we do is we basically take our amazing candidates who want to, take more of these international hospitality opportunities, and we work with international 4-star and 5-star hotel chains, so such as the Grand Hotel Golf Resort and Spa, who is with us today. We also have different programs within. So we normally have culinary arts, food and beverage, and rooms division. Okay, so so this can be for somebody who studied culinary, right? Somebody who started hospitality in general. And then what do we do specifically? So as a career consultant myself, we take your CV, we see your eligibility, of course, and then we start running. We start seeing which employers we can match you with. And one thing is very important from us, of course, why choose us? We don't ask for any upfront fees. Okay, the moment that you're hired, the moment that you're accepted by the employer, that's when you get to make the payments. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And of course, we help you with Find the Dream training. We assist you with the whole J1 visa process. We actually, if we have candidates where you are applying, we actually pair you with a buddy so that you can also ask them questions about maybe going to those places, which can be a little bit of the unknown, right? We have full-on support, not only from us here or from Indonesia or from our Kenya office, but we also have from our United States office, which is pretty great. And we have, of course, the insurance that is very important for you to go into the United States. And so this is also why it's very important that also our employers know that, we actually provide all of these things for our J1 candidates. If you have other questions, of course, you can also put it on the chat box already. If you have any other, just put it there, and then we'll talk about it towards the end, okay? So what do you need to qualify? Basically, you need an academic hospitality degree, 6 months of recent and relevant hospitality experience. It's very important also for our employers that you know a little bit what you're going into, right? So if this is within rooms division, if it's within F&B or culinary, that you have a little bit of experience. So that's really, really important. Somebody who is motivated, enthusiastic, and professional attitude. And of course, a good fluent and English skills, because you are going to deal with guests, right? Whether, doesn't matter the departments that you're going to be in, it's a skill very important to have, and that you're actually going to get better once you are in the United States. So if you qualify to all of these, then you're more than welcome to apply with us. You can also do it through our website. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna give a warm welcome. We have a little presentation from the hotel, so we are very, very lucky. And so I don't know if the presentation will be up. And like I said, if you have any questions whatsoever about anything that I just said, please just put it on the chat. So I will give the space to, let me see. Okay, so do we have? Hi, Angie, are you there?
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Angie, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for speaking to our possible candidates, possible future as well candidates in your property about, yeah, the Grand Hotel Golf Resort and Spa.
Of course, thank you. All right, well, welcome everyone. We're excited to have y'all on the call today and interested in joining our team potentially. So real quick, just so I'm aware, am I controlling this PowerPoint or are y'all controlling the PowerPoint?
We are.
Oh, okay, great. So a little bit, about myself. I, really and truly are born and raised in Fairhope, Alabama, which is where the Grand Hotel lies. And so I went and, worked in restaurants and worked in hospitality, worked in bars, and soon realized that ultimately hospitality was where I wanted to land my feet in. At the time I was a nursing major, and it was not going to work out for me whatsoever. I love taking care of people, but at the end of the day, I wanted to do it in a better setting. So I transitioned over and studied hospitality management at a local college around here. And then right after graduation, I joined the Grand Hotel as a hotel operations recruiter, and did that for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then worked my way up to talent manager. So oversaw development and staffing of the resort. And then shortly after that was transitioned over to the HR manager, which is my current role. So now I oversee still somewhat of recruiting from an international standpoint, but also training development, compliance, learning development, all of those things. So that's a little bit about me and my bio and then how I ended up here at the Grand. And so a little bit about the hotel. We were founded in 1847. And so actually now we are a historic property. So shortly after 1847, the property did transition over into a Civil War hospital. There were too many soldiers at a local hospital that was overran. So they actually brought them back down here. And so because of that, we do have a cemetery that lies on property on our golf course with about 150 plus soldiers. Then we sit on 550 acres. So that does extend over to our country club and golf courses. We have more than 405 rooms, we have 405 rooms, not more. But for those of you that are interested in the rooms division, it is a little complex within that. I'm sure Tiffany will give you the whole rundown, but it is 405 rooms separated between 5 different buildings, separated between 26 different room types. So it is a complex property, really and truly. And then for those of you that are interested in the food and beverage track, we have 37,000 square foot of meeting and event space, which has its own kitchen, and Chef will talk about that. And then we have 9 dining and bar options total on the property. And then we are affiliated with what's called PCH Hotels and Resorts, which is the largest hospitality employer in the state of Alabama, with the Grand Hotel really being the flagship of that company. So not only from a profitability standpoint, but also a staffing. Currently, we are in our peak season, so we're sitting around 900 employees. All right. This just kind of goes over the Grand history. So we are affiliated with the Autograph Collection. And so in light of that, we are required to have a mark or the autograph moment. So this happens every day at 4 o'clock. And it's really just paying tribute to the history of the hotel. So every day at 3:45, a firing cannon, captain, and a musician meet in the main lobby for locals and guests to attract. And then they walk around the property and end up at the bay that we sit on. And they do a ceremony dedicated to the historical events that happened here. pay tribute to active and retired military, and then they shoot the cannon off. So every day at 4 o'clock, all of our offices shake because we are actually shooting cannons off into the Mobile Bay. And then directly follows that is a tea and cookie ceremony in the Grand Hall. So that is called Grandeur, Grit, and Glory since 1847. It's our trademark. And so this is really kind of talking about being grand together. So, you know, we work a lot, right? So, you know, we may be with each other for 9, 10, 11 hours out of the day, and then be able to like USA and unwind for, you know, maybe 4 or 5 hours before we go to bed. But we really want to talk about, you know, being able to come together as a team. And so really the first commitment you see is our commitment to each other. So greet each other with respect one another, you know, award great behavior, nurture and show compassion, and be dedicated to each other. And then on the flip side, you know, we are spending a lot of time together as associates, but we also are spending a lot of time with our guests. So we want to make the commitment to our guests and our members. And so we have, from the membership standpoint, we've got about 1,500 memberships, about 5,000 members total. So that is another part of the Grand. And so we want to take ownership of any guest issue. We want to, you know, be able to trust and that our leaders are going to give us everything we need to be successful so we can use our toolkit, surprise and delight our guests. And really and truly, we're just here about making memories and experiences for the guest. This just kind of looks at all the departments that we have. So we've got, you know, from an accounting standpoint, IT, we have engineering, right? So when you're built in 1847, there are a lot of things that are, you know, breaking or having to be fixed or need a light bulb change. So engineering really helps take over the property in that regard and make us grand. You've got front office that Tiffany oversees. It's front office and at your service, which is our call center. We've got a gift shop. Guest services oversees the entire transportation department and concierge services. Golf operations, you know, helping manage the golf pro shop and all the members going out on the grounds. You've got the grounds team that are maintaining the grounds as well as hotel grounds. And then we've got our housekeeping department. So those of you that are in a rooms division, you will most likely have a rotation in housekeeping. So, you know, learning the logistics of the property and then being able to apply that. And then we talked about Lakewood. So that is our country club membership that we have affiliated with us. And over there, they have tennis courts, croquet courts, pickleball courts. They also have recreation, loss prevention is our security. And then we have recreation on the resort side. So I do believe for the rooms division, there is a rotation for recreation in one of those. So you may actually get to have that. And then F&B, it's all in the spiel. You can go to the next slide. So recreation is huge here at the property because, you know, we have a lot to offer. We're a beautiful property. We have, you know, many outlets to go and eat at, but you also have to keep them occupied and busy. So our team for recreation has a very important role in that. They oversee the bike rentals, the kayaks. We have, you know, the big bikes that go out on the water. We have an entire games lawn. We do have historians on property, so they give out historical property tours every day. Campground. So our property is primarily outside. So when it rains, it pours. And so we've got to be able to have someone, you know, a place where they can go and rest and have some fun. So it's got some arcade games in there, arts and crafts, bonfires and s'mores happen nightly. And really holidays are huge at the Grand. That's where a lot of our guests want to come and spend their time with us. So the spa is, you know, relatively new when it comes to the property and looking at it as a whole. So we do offer massage therapy, cosmetology, aesthetics. And so it really is, we captivate on the fact that we're giving an experience, not just a service. So when the guests come, you know, they can very well come and just get a service, or they can come and really spend the day and enjoy the calming room, be greeted with attendants, and, you know, then go to the indoor pool. So it really is captivating on the experience as a whole and not just the service itself. Banquets are huge at the Grand. So, you know, I wish I could tell you actually how many we have on a given year. But I know every time I'm leaving property, I usually see one being set up. But really, you know, we have all sorts of weddings, from small, intimate weddings to large scale weddings. that are all, really placed anywhere on the property. So if there's a patch of grass and someone wants to get married there, well, by golly, that's where they're going to have their wedding. Next slide. Southern Roots, Chef will go into detail about that, but it's our fine dining restaurant that we have on property. And so it really is keeping true to Southern roots at its best. So being able to take all the elements from Southern cuisine, but elevate it to a higher palate so that the guests can explore that menu. Those are some pictures. We got Bayside Grill. It's casual lunch and dinner dining option on the property for a guest. So next slide. Grand Hall, this is one of our outlets. It's where we serve breakfast in the morning. So depending on, buffet service or a la carte, it's going to depend on occupancy. And then it's also where we host our tea and cookie ceremony every morning. Local Market is our coffee shop on property. And so it's for our guests to come and, just wind down with a nice latte. And then we also have pastries that are made in-house from our pastry team. And then we also have, the pastry interns also are helping with those items. They have a Cookie of the Month competition that they do, which is really fun. So I'm sure Chef will go into details of that. Buc-ee's, so this is where every guest wants to be at the end of the night, right? It is our fast-paced, high-volume bar on the property. It's named after Bucky Miller himself. So Bucky worked for over 61 years at the Grand Hotel and was recognized by Marriott multiple times with his service and excellence. So when we did the renovation autograph, we thought no better than to name the lounge after Bucky. 1847 is going to be our craft cocktail bar. So, we always say we hire mixologists for this outlet, not just bartenders. They have to be very skilled in their trade, really kind of know the ins and outs of cocktails, liquors, how it all comes together. And then they do a tasting to the guests Wednesday through Sunday at 5 p.m. Of a sample cocktail, whether it's one known well in history or maybe one that they kind of took their own swing on. Poolside Grill, so Buc-ee's is where everyone wants to be at night, and Poolside Grill is where everyone wants to be at during the day, right? So we have a beautiful resort-style pool on the property, and so, this is also kind of where recreation plays into. So we've got, of course, the F&B outlet part, which is overseeing the kitchen and the serving of the food and cocktails, but then recreation also is over at this outlet, helping check guests in, helping them with towels, and then we have the water slide over there as well, and we have our activities right outside the pool. Chef, you want to take that slide?
Oh, sure. So we have a garden there on property that's right outside Bayside Grill and our Southern Roots outlets, nice overlooking the water, as you can see from some of the pictures. But we use it mostly for our fresh herbs that we use in, our cocktails and Buc-ee's. We also use them in pretty much all the herbs we use in our recipes and things like that. And it's a great place for a venue space too. We have events held in that space. Nice muscadine vines everywhere. It gets that symmetry, fig trees all mixed throughout there. So it's a really awesome space located right outside the kitchen. It really ties the outlets to the farmland, kind of represents what we like to do here at the Grand. Lakewood Club, so I touched on this at the beginning. These are some pictures that kind of really just show you what the scale of that property is. Again, we have about 1,500 memberships, approximately 5,000 members total. What sets us apart, really any of our competitors in the general area, is that they are not just a membership to the club, they're a membership to the resort. So they are able to come over to the resort, use their dining plan over here, charge to their accounts, and go to the pool as well, and then they get discounts. So not only do they have a top tier club to themselves that encompasses pickleball courts, croquet courts, tennis courts, a gym, the resort style pool that's separate and apart over there with the lazy river and a water slide, splash pad, adult pool, but then they also have indoor and outdoor dining. They are able to come over to the resort. Next slide. And there's just some pictures that kind of shows, the bottom left is the croquet. So that was the first championship grade croquet course to be built in Alabama. And then you've got your gym up top, and then our tennis courts, and relatively new is the pickleball courts. And then this just shows the indoor and outdoor dining that we have on the property. So right now you're looking at the indoor part of Sweetwater Cafe. Directly past those windows is where our pool is. So it does overlook the club pool. And so our members can decide, what type of day they're going to have. Do they want to have a casual and just, good lunch inside, or do they want to go out to the pool deck and have more of a laissez-faire day? Golf. So golf is huge at the club, and I wish I could really go into detail of all the things golf related, but I am not a golfer. But we do have 2 golf courses. So it is Azalea and Dogwood, as well as a driving range on the property. So this is the clubhouse. So this is also a part of us. So the country club that we saw just a second ago with the pool and the tennis courts, that's actually kind of further in on property. So you have to actually take a vehicle to get there. The clubhouse you can get to by golf cart shuttle from the main resort. And so this is where the members tee off at and then go to the pro shop. There's also a restaurant here as well. And then really any tips for your interview, if you choose to stay on and do an interview with us, is just, answer, all the questions and be enthusiastic and, don't be afraid to ask questions, right? Because, you don't want to leave the interview feeling like, oh, I missed something, right? So don't be afraid. Our chef and Tiffany are here to talk you through and walk you through this process, making sure that we set you up for success. And then I will kind of just leave on this note. So, for some J1s that come here, they weren't really expecting or knew exactly kind of the area that is surrounding the resort. So where we are located is in a small town. It is a beautiful town. It's called Fairhope. It's got downtown shops, it's got downtown bars, restaurants. But if you are used to that city life, it is not city, really and truly. The closest city that we have to us is Mobile or Pensacola, which are about 45 minutes to an hour drive. So just keep that in mind. Our interns, we have transportation services that they utilize, that they can go to the nearest mall. The nearest mall is about 30 minutes in Foley. We're about 45 minutes from the main beaches in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. So there's definitely ways to get around and navigate the area, but as far as Fairhope as a whole, it is not considered a large city. It is kind of a smaller city, but has everything you would want. Just if you're looking for kind of the city vibe, like a New York City, that you're not going to experience that in this area. And then that QR code just takes you to our website.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Angie. Wow, it's an incredible property. You have so many things to do. So I think one of the questions that I'm going to ask later on is actually what the candidates can engage on. So I think they will have plenty to do while they're there. But thank you so much, Angie, for the presentation and just talking to us about the history. I've always been obsessed with history, so I love it when a property has this kind of storytelling kind of thing. So now everyone, we're going to go into our talk show session where we're going to ask also a couple of questions, not only to Tiffany and to Mike, but overall, actually later on, we're going to have one of my candidates also on here. So I'm very excited about that. So we have actually a couple of, if you can just go a little before to the one before, just our current participants. As you can see, a couple of them there. I have one of my candidates, Louis, who just, I think, arrived to the property. So very excited about that. And then I also have Remy and Claire. So very, very excited and hope that, these guys are having an amazing time there and that they're, of course, doing an amazing job and making us proud. So let's continue with Claire. So who is our current participant in F&B division? Claire is from France. So I'm going to read the testimonial, and then actually we're going to have Claire talk a little bit about, how's it been for her as well. So it reads, a few months ago, I left my comfort zone to begin a new adventure in Fairhope, Alabama. Since arriving, every day has brought new challenges, experiences, and opportunities to grow. Through my J1 program at Grand Hotel Golf Resort and Spa, I've had the chance to work in different hospitality departments, develop new skills, improve my English, and gain a deeper understanding of the American hospitality culture. Beyond the workplace, I've met inspiring people, built meaningful connections, and explored several states across the southern U.S. This experience has helped me to grow both personally and professionally, and it continues to be one of the most rewarding journeys of my life. So, Claire, thank you so much for this testimonial. But we want to hear from you directly. So, hi, Claire.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I think Angie has told about every advantage, all the life we can find in the Grand Hotel Resort and Spa. Told about my experience, I arrived here to be 6 months, and I think I can find a better area for past 1 year in US, especially with the people when I met here, especially in the grounds for the management. The management, it's really like opening, and they push you for make better. Especially, I starting to work in different outlet service in the restaurant parts. After I'm moving in the banquet parts, and now I'm staying banquet part to be supervisor. Especially here, the South culture of the US, it's really interesting. Let's continue. I think the Grants, it's really a beautiful area. They're one of the really famous hotel in the South. It's really interesting when you come for the other country because you can exchange with a lot of people come from here in the Grants, and they from to all the part of the US, like from Chicago, San Francisco, all of different cities. It's really interesting for the culture, for the exchange. What I can tell about more, the management, the US management, the American management, it's really interesting. The values, the culture, the emplacement, the area when the hotel is placed, it's really like beautiful in the Mobile Bay. It's really a beautiful area for grow up and enjoy the time with the Grants Associates. Fairhope, it's really a beautiful old town, and you can find a lot of things to do around the city. It depends if you prefer live in the big city or just enjoy the moments in the work in the little city like Fairhope and Pointe-Claire. I really advise you to just exchange with Angie and a lot of people. They work in the grounds. We have a lot of G1 here. It's really like I appreciate the time here, and I'm apologize for my English before you didn't understand me. And if you need more question, or don't hesitate to send me a message or in my Teams or something. And I'm here and I take the time for you. And I think, this is a really beautiful place for past 1 year, and the values and the people, it's really opening and friendly to exchange with you and for grow up in the enterprise and the hospitality business. Thank you for your time. And
thank you so much,
have a
Claire.
great day.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see you again, and it's great to see
Yeah.
the experience that you're having as of now. And I think just one question before in this case you have to get going most probably, but what actually made you take the decision, Claire, that I really want to do a J1 program. I want to put myself out there. What made you take that decision? Because there might be some of our candidates right now maybe thinking about it. Should I not? What really made you say this is something that I want to do?
For going the grants or just moving in the US?
Just starting, right? Right now we have candidates who are thinking of doing a J1 program. So what made you want to do the J1 program?
Okay, sorry, I didn't introduce. I finished my MBA since 1 year, and I just want to discover a new culture of the management. The hospitality business is the business of exchange for meet other people, and I think it's really important to go of the other country for understand the people, the mindset of the other on different country. It's really important. Exchange with the other professional come from the other country, and at the end of my MBA, when I have my MBA, just Mathieu Mioch proposed me to just work for the US, and I'm really interested about exchange and live the life during 1 year in the other country. I think it's really interesting for work on yourself and what you want to do after, and yeah, for reflect about you and what do you really want and where you want to move, and for progress and grow up on the hospitality business. I don't know if I answer a few questions,
no, of
and I
course,
can help people, but this is my idea. But I think it's really important. It's the business of the heart, and here it's like the beautiful place, and yeah, let's go. And it's second point. It's my English. I just want to improve my English of the other country and exchange in English with the other people and the new vocabulary. And yeah, I'm taking my plane and go in Mobile Bay.
Perfect, Claire. Well, thank you so much. If you're still gonna stick around with us, maybe if there's somebody who has a specific question to Claire, maybe you can also ask it on the chat, and maybe Claire can also answer it. And if are you gonna still stick around, Claire, for a bit?
Yeah, I can stay.
Perfect. Okay, because we might have some also some other questions coming up as well in the same time that we're gonna be talking with Mike and Tiffany, most likely.
Okay, thank you so much.
So perfect. Okay, so now we have the introduction of Mike Weiner, so executive chef from this amazing property. So thank you so much for joining us, Mike, and for receiving our J1s and for being part of also their journey while they're in the United States. So so let's welcome everybody, Mike, and let's hear your story.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's great to have y'all today. But I'm Mike Weiner, executive chef here at the Grand. A little bit about myself. I was kind of raised with a passion for food. My grandmother had a restaurant growing up. You know, there was a lot of cooking in my household. It was a very communal event, you know, with friends and family. I grew up in my young years in North Carolina, where pig pickings were a big thing, barbecues, and, you know, big thing. So the love of food is always there. Always love how it brought people together, and you know, it was a big part of our culture. When I was 13 years old, my family moved to Alabama, to what I consider my home is Headland, Alabama, a little small farm town. Really grew up surrounded by peanut fields everywhere, so I'm very familiar with peanut dust. You know, it's almost like an allergy season right there, where they're plowing up fields and it gets in your face and you know it. You know, and just having that dirt always in the air is kind of what I grew up in. You know, connected to the farmland, but grew up there through high school and stuff like that. I worked in some kitchens as dishwashers and things like that, little pizza places, fast food, just little things here and there. Eventually, when it was time for me to go to college, you know, I did the smart thing, as all high school goes. I went for a history degree. Don't use it whatsoever. Working on that history degree, I was working at a little bar and grill there on campus and realized I love cooking at this bar and grill more than anything I will ever do in a library, anything I would ever do with this history degree. And it just clicked. And I was like, I need to change some things up. So moved up to Atlanta, went to Le Cordon Bleu in Atlanta, you know, culinary school up there, and really started focusing on the passion for food and becoming a chef, and truly what I want to do with my career. Since then, I worked in restaurants all throughout the Atlanta region. Came back home to Alabama, to Montgomery, was part of the opening team for a PCH property up there called the Renaissance Montgomery. Worked there for about 5 years. Went to Muscle Shoals. It was the chef de cuisine up at 360. It was Alabama's only revolving restaurant. Basically, as you're sitting there, you revolve around and you look at views of the Tennessee River right there, looking over the Shoals region. And then eventually, my wife's actually from this region of Fairhope, and a job opened up here at the Grand. I was like, it's a perfect opportunity. We can move back home, be closer to family. My in-laws can help raise our kids. And so it was a no-brainer to come down to the Grand Hotel and come down to the Grand. I started as a restaurant chef and just kind of worked my way up through all the different areas, through our banquets departments, through our restaurant areas, and eventually becoming the executive chef. And I've been in this role for about 3 years now, loving every second of it. I love the culture we have here. It's a great community we have built, and we all have good passion for food and love what we're doing here. So that's just a little bit about me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you. And yeah, sharing your story. So we will also ask you some questions in a bit, and then we'll have a little bit more of a conversational. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story. So now we're going to go to Tiffany Watson, so the Director of Front Office Operation. Tiffany, the floor is yours. So if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can continue to just the questions.
Perfect. Wonderful. And good morning, everybody. My name is Tiffany Watson. I'm the Director of Front Office here at the Grand. So my journey really, I'm born and raised in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is just north of Miami area. So I came from the big city. I have family from Fairhope. So that's ultimately what brought me back to this area several years ago. I was in college originally to be an art teacher and needed to work and started right here at the Grand Hotel as a front desk agent. Was here for a year and decided I fell in love with it and just really enjoyed being here. And took a supervisor role at our sister property, the Battle House, which is in downtown Mobile, where I was there for 4 years as a supervisor and assistant front desk manager. And then I came back to the Grand as a front office manager. And then in my newest role as Director of Front Office, really I oversee 3 different areas here at the resort. I oversee the front office operations, where there is manager Vicki Lazary that oversees front desk and our at your service telephone operators. Our guest services team, which consists of our front gate attendants, our bell stand, transportation, concierge, and valet area. And then also our gift shop here at the resort called our Oak and Azalea Boutique. And there's managers in each of those areas as well. So that's really my newest role. Again, I said I mentioned my family is from this area. My dad actually worked at the Grand Hotel when he was in high school. My aunts and uncles all worked here. So that really is what drew me here to the Grand, is all the rich history and stories that not only our guests have with bringing their families time and time again, but a lot of our staff that has those connections to the Grand and their family history. So there's a lot of history, not just for the resort, but with our family traditions, and the culture here is, really what makes that wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Well, it sounds amazing. I always love it when it's full circle. Walter was also sharing at the beginning. So it's really nice to have that close, I guess, relationship with the place that you're working at. So very, very nice. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you, Mike, for those wonderful introductions. And now we're gonna go a little bit more to some questions. Okay, so we have 2 parts. So the first one is going to be a career journey in the hospitality industry. So this will be more towards Tiffany or Mike. So if we can have the first question. Okay, so the first question: what first attracted you to the hospitality and culinary industry, and what keeps you passionate about it today? So I'm gonna first quickly ask Tiffany, what attracted you from this?
Yeah, I think it was the history and the people, especially being in the South with the Southern hospitality and how friendly everybody was. and really what keeps me passionate is learning something new every day. I've been working for the company for 19 years, and I feel like I'm always growing and learning something new. So it keeps me very passionate about working here.
Yeah, and I think there's a very interesting word there which mentions it's passionate, right, about what you do, and it's something that we also look for in our candidates when we want to send them to our property. So yeah, and so well, we heard a little bit, Mike, your story about also kind of being also from the area, but what keeps you more attracted to and passionate about culinary after all of these years?
Basically what attracted me to culinary and what keeps me involved in culinary is the same thing. For lack of a better term, it's the chaos. I love the chaos the kitchen brings. I love the energy of it, the camaraderie of, the teams working together and tackling this emergency, topping of that emergency, and the ever-changing that comes from it. And that's what keeps me passionate about it today, because I don't like doing the same thing every day in, day out, and in this industry, there's so much different things happening all the time. It keeps me entertained, keeps me involved, keeps me engaged, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's always funny when I ask my candidates, any in the hospitality, when I tell them, how do you keep yourself, calm during stressful situations? They're like, oh no, we're used to it. It's how we roll. So yeah, I can definitely take that up on that. Okay, let's go to the next question that we have. So what's one experience in your journey that truly shaped who you are as a culinary professional today? So this one is for Mike.
Okay. Well, one thing comes to mind is back when I was working in Montgomery Renaissance, opening that property, I was still a pretty young culinarian. I was there in it for myself. I was trying to make the best of this, best of that. And at the time, I was learning how to make ice cream. We just got this industrial ice cream maker, and I was making 2 times ice cream a day, day in, day out, trying to get the perfect fat ratio, trying to get the texture right, trying to see what freezes best, what doesn't, and just experimenting, with different things like that. And I just happened to run into some guests. It was their anniversary that were staying there, and I was like, oh, why don't you try some? I just made this brown butter bourbon ice cream. It's delicious. Try it. They loved it. They were raving about it at dinner. And I was like, it kind of, that's awesome. This is something I'm just playing with. I didn't even really like it fooling myself. I'm still trialing and erroring it right now. And so I sent a little pint of it up to their room. Lo and behold, a couple weeks later, they wrote an email to Marriott Corporate, raving about the ice cream, raving the experience, and talking with me. And it kind of clicked. It's like, it's not just about culinary, it's about hospitality. It's how you make the guests feel, kind of what brings them back. And ever since then, I've been kind of realizing that's what I need to work towards. I need to work towards making the best for our guests, making their experience grand, and what keeps them coming back to us.
Perfect. That's a great story. Thank you so much, Mike. And who doesn't love ice cream, right? So I think it's a good story to tell regardless. Do you still make it? Do you still make the ice cream?
Of course.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's go to question 3. Okay, so maybe this one let's do for Tiffany. So from your perspective, we heard actually a little bit from what Angie said, but from your perspective, what makes the guest experience at the Grand Hotel special compared to other luxury resorts in the U.S. South?
Right, absolutely. And I think I kind of mentioned this already before, is really it's the history that the property has, and it's the hospitality, the Southern hospitality that we have that really nobody else has in the States. So it's really knowing exactly how we make the guests feel, like Mike said, and really making those connections. There's guests that only call and talk to me, and because I've made those connections with them over the years, and they come back time and time again, and this is their second home. We're family to them. So it really is that loyalty that we build with our guests that is so unique to this area.
Yeah, I would say so myself. The history part, I think, is really, really amazing part of it. Thank you, Tiffany. And moving on to our other question. So, how have the hospitality and culinary industries changed over the year? And what trends do you think will shape the future in the industry? So, Mike, maybe you would want to answer this question.
Okay. Yeah, culinary trends, they come and go, they changed. Whenever I was becoming a chef and learning things about molecular gastronomy was huge when I was coming up. So all about using the different powders and the different textures, making spears and all that fun stuff. And you don't see that as much anymore. One thing that I see that always holds true, no matter the trends and things like that, is the classics. People like comfort flavors. They like things that make them think home. They, like those type things. And you saw it come back a few years ago when the farm to table industry just kind of blossomed real big. It's that coming back to the roots and things like that. And I think that's something that's always going to hold true for now and even the future is, how it tastes, how it makes you feel is never going to change. And that's always going to be there.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, Mike. And Tiffany, what do you think about the trends? Do you think it's shifting a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always shifting. That's the, one thing that's great, and what keeps us so passionate is always evolving, always changing with the industry. The benefits that we have here at the Grand is that, being owned by the Retirement Systems of Alabama, we have a huge support from our RSA members, who get discounts at our properties. So even through COVID and our Lakewood membership, because through COVID, we were able to support, our properties within that time frame because of our members and because of our locals and our community here in Fairhope, and being open, having our restaurants open to the locals and things like that, and really having the only area restaurant on the beautiful bay that we have where guests could be outside during that time. So I think, through COVID, we all saw, right, that, meetings and things like that, everybody went to the virtual world and thought that would work. But ultimately, our guests, our associates, people in general, they want that engagement. They want that face-to-face interaction. So, we're continuing to see the growth for us. We used to have a slow season between, really December and February. And we're really just not seeing that slow season anymore. We're seeing that time frame pick up. And we're really, just getting busier. So, that's really what my hopes are for our future is, we're continuing to grow here at the Grand. So it's great to see that happen within the industry.
Yeah, no, that's great, because that means that we can continue sending more candidates your way. So that also works both ways. That's perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. If we can move to the next, please. Perfect. And I think after this, we go to the second part. So what skills and qualities do young professionals need to succeed in a large luxury resort environment like the Grand Hotel? So I don't know if Mike, Tiffany, or maybe even Angie would like to see what it is that you guys are looking for in terms.
Yeah, I think I can chime in on that one. So I will really and truly say, the biggest thing that we are looking for is just someone that's willing to embrace it all, honestly. So, kind of everything that you think that just kind of keep it there, but be open to new perspective is the biggest thing, because the Grand will humble you. There's a reason that we do everything for, anything. So I think just have an open mind when you come in, and, be open and understanding to, what our structure is, And also just have a positive attitude. You know, if we can train anyone to do any skill, but we can't train positivity, right? That has to kind of be in you and be with you. So days can be long, and you know, you can, especially in the culinary and front desk world, where if we're 100% occupancy, you may blink and in a blink of an eye, the day is over and you're like, what has happened? But as long as you maintain positivity, then you're doing it with your team, you're doing it with your leadership. And at the end of the day, you get to go home feeling fulfilled and that you made a difference on somebody. That's my little tidbit.
Perfect. Yeah, thank
Well
you.
said, Angie.
Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you. Perfect. I think that that's the last question for part. Yes, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit more about the employer and about the J1 program and that side of it. So, so let's begin with the first question from there. So it is very important for our candidates also to know how they are supported by the employers, right, of where they're going to be, where they're going to spend a period of 12 months, up to longer sometimes. So how do you support J1 participants in adapting to a new work environment and hospitality culture at the Grand Hotel? So the same. So I don't know, maybe Tiffany, do you want to maybe answer this question? And then Mike as well, a little bit.
Sure. So, I mean, we're here, you know, for them and anything that they need. Actually, I live right near the housing. So, you know, I've lived very close to the property and close to the housing. So, you know, I always make our candidates aware of that, let them know, you know, hey, I'm close by. If you need anything, let me know. I'm right there. A lot of times, you know, they're supported, you know, really too by a team of other, you know, students that are here either for a J1 program, an H2B program, or interns within the states. And they really just build lasting relationships with those other students that are here. So it's really just a great experience overall, you know, for them throughout this journey. But you know, they have our cell phone numbers if they need anything at all. We're willing to lend a hand wherever it's needed, and really just follow them throughout their entire training process that they're here for. So.
Perfect.
I completely agree. We have a great onboarding process. You know, we take a week or however long it needs to be to make sure they're accustomed to us, make sure they know everyone they need to know, and it's a good introduction to us, what our culture is, who our key players are, who to go to for information or any issues that may arise. And like Tiffany said, you know, it's all about they build their own community while they're here, you know, with the other interns from all over the world and from the States and the different workers we have here.
Yeah, great. I remember as my experience as well. I think it's also that bonds that you also make with your colleagues who are also going through the same thing that you're going through, right? So you can be empathic with that situation. So we always love to hear about yeah, when our candidates are supported. That's really good. Okay, this one actually, I will ask you, and then also I actually want to hear from Claire after. So, what challenges do international participants commonly face in hospitality environments? Who would like to take on that question?
I'll say from the room division standpoint, probably one of the biggest challenges is not only focusing on their English language while they're here, they're having to learn really kind of the Southern English language, which is a little bit different. And so, you know, that's probably the biggest challenge is not just learning the English language, but getting used to the Southern English language. With our guests while they're here, but we're here to support them and get them through that the most that they can focus on, you know, that their English while they're here, the better. And it comes with time, but just having the patience through that, you know, with themselves, and we have that patience for them. It's a great experience.
Perfect. Thank you, Tiffany. And Mike, do you maybe have something that you can quickly
Yeah,
share?
I would say a big thing is a lot of them, it may be their first time out of the country, they can get homesick sometimes. And I think it's very important for them to keep that communication with home and stuff like that, while they're here. And of course, build their new family while they're here with us as well, kind of help them overcome some of those things,
Yeah.
because we all know what it is to leave home for the first time and be away.
Yeah, it's true. And so actually, Claire, if you would like to tell us a little bit during these 6 months that you have been there, what challenges have you commonly faced?
I think I joined Tiffany and Chef Mike about this. The South accent in English, it's on the first time really, really hard to understand. But yeah, after 1 month, you're starting to understand more the normal exchange, and this is really interesting for your English because in the grants, especially I think in USA, they have a lot of people. They come from a lot of different area in USA, and I learn every states have different accents, and that is really interesting. But the South is really hard, but it's nice for improve your English and exchange about the people, and the people from the South. It's really like friendly and opening to exchange with you and take the time for understand you. And yeah, I think it's the more challenges at the starter, and after it just the English and vocabulary, and but yeah, the South accent, it's really hard at the starter.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing, Claire. I can imagine. But now you're gonna come back, not only learning, how to speak better, gaining more English skills, but also Southern English skills. So it's a plus, whenever you go back.
I back to French with a South accent from US, I think so.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Claire. Now to question 3. So how can J1 participants maximize this experience beyond daily operational work, right? So I know that as well, candidates have other things to do right after work. So what would you recommend in this case?
I would say definitely make sure your off time is your off time. Make sure you're fully enjoying America while you're here. Take some time, go take a road trip to New Orleans, take a road trip to Atlanta, experience the different cultures here in America that we have to offer, not just here in our local community, but, whatever's around us to see and do and things like that. That's how you can really get the most of and really experience what America is.
Yeah. And if there were to be one thing that you would say, living there in Alabama, that you would say, this is something they have to do before they leave, the area. What is something that it's like a must do?
I would say they absolutely must go see Mardi Gras. Or whether that's in Mobile, which is just right across the bay. So that's an easy Uber ride, or if they go to New Orleans. So it's funny that Claire's on the call, because honestly, when I look at all of our J1s, I feel like she's our most well-traveled J1. Every time I talk to her, she's like, oh, I'm going here and I'm going there. And I was like, girl, I love it, honestly. Sometimes our J1s, you see them, they're kind of sheltered and they don't like to get out of the house a lot, and they don't try to find the ways to get out. Again, we are in a small city, so it's not like we have public transportation like bigger cities, but Claire is able to figure out the ways to get to where she wants to go. So I love that for her. So I would definitely say Mardi Gras, and then the beaches, right? When I was in college, I did study abroad in Greece. And so when I went to the Greece beaches, I was like, this is beautiful, but our sand is better at home. It's silky sand, there's not pebbles in it, and really and truly just beautiful blue water when you get down to Gulf Shores Orange Beach. So those are the 2 things I would say you should do.
Perfect. So Claire, what would be your, let's say somebody from this call ends up going right to the Grand Hotel. What would be your recommendation in this, this question?
For this question, the Fairhope and Mobile Bay have the really beautiful localization, because you have in drive, you have 40 minutes from Angie told about Florida, in Pensacola, really famous beach around here. And you have a train in Mobile, and you can take the train for go in New Orleans. And for enjoy the Mardi Gras and the South culture and all of stuff around, it's really like a beautiful localization for just enjoy your time after the work and meet some people new and meet some new friends and enjoy, improve your English, your South accents, and discover that's in US. The grant is really, it is my vision. It's work. You work good and you have the good time for enjoy. And the grants really understand that, and they really opening with the G1 people, G1 new young, and yeah, the value if you work good, they give you like for enjoy the time around here, and this is a mix to the Alabama states, and you have the Florida in 40 minutes with car. It's like really approach and for enjoy your time and discover a new area and new people. It's really a perfect area.
Perfect. Thank you
If you
so
have
much,
more
sir.
questions.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. Okay, let's move on to question 4. Okay, do you have any memorable success stories from past J1 participants that you would want to share? Maybe there's one, I don't know who would like to share, Tiffany or Mike, or
Well, we've
Sure.
had a lot of successes with our J1 students. Currently, 3 of our 11 chefs we have on staff are former J1 students that have, come back to us and, work their way up the ranks into a leadership position with us. But so many, we keep in contact with these guys. We love to watch them on Instagram and see what they're doing now and keep in contact, to see all the things that they succeed as they left here. And, eventually some of them come back to us.
Perfect. And Tiffany, do you have any memorable success stories?
Yeah, I was going to say about the same, we've, the 19 years that I've been with the company, we've had J1s the entire time. When I first started and was a front desk agent, the director of front office was a J1 prior to staying here. So a lot of what I learned was from her. And I think, we teach each other, right? And that's part of, again, one of the things that keeps us passionate about our jobs here is that, we get to learn from our J1s while they're here about their culture, as well as while they're learning from us. So, I think there's not one memorable experience. Each one is different and memorable, and it's wonderful.
Great. That's must be so many stories as well, right? About our J1s or any J1s really. Okay. I think. Okay. So usually candidates try to impress employers during interviews, but let's turn the tables around. Why would you convince candidates to choose your property and join your J1 trainee program there? I think you guys have already been doing this for the time that we've been having this call. You've convinced me to go and visit. I've never been to Alabama, but other than what has been shared, what do you think you would, share with our J1 candidates?
Well, from an F&B standpoint, it's what we really have to offer. With our 9 different F&B outlets, our catering operation, our pastry operation, we truly do it all here. We do fine dining, we do casual dining, we do quick service, and everything in between there. So the opportunity to learn is very, very vast here. Whatever you want to learn and focus on, we do it as an operation here every day. So that's a major thing we have an advantage of versus other properties.
Perfect. And Tiffany, anything else you would want to, or Angie, maybe anything else you would want to add to this?
Yeah, so I mean, we're one of the top resorts, obviously, currently right now in our guest satisfactory scores. We're at number 4 of over 175 autograph collection properties. So as far as our guest satisfaction, We were number one a few years ago. We're always striving to be there. And you know, we really just have such a unique property, a unique situation, like I said, with our staffing model. A lot of the staff has been here for many, many years, and it's just such a beautiful, unique property. So there's a lot to learn from here. In the rooms division side, there's really nothing else like it. You know, as far as other properties, if you can learn the front desk here, front desk at really anywhere else is fairly easy, because we have so many different room types, and it's just such a unique property.
So actually, just to make sense of what full occupancy might look like, what has been the most that you have, you know, filled the hotel? Do you remember how many maybe rooms or maybe number of guests that have stayed in the hotel?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't understand that. So how many? We have 405 guest
because
rooms.
it's such a big property, right? So if we're gonna give an idea to our J1 candidates as well of how busy it can get.
Yeah,
Let's say
so you know, this really, I mean, we have days where we have 350, 70 departures, and then turning the hotel completely around almost. So like today, you know, we have 265 departures and 200 arrivals. And that's pretty typical this time of year in our season, where it's, you know, turning every single day. We're about 50% transient guests versus 50% group on the property. But of course, being a resort property, the majority of our groups that are here are for leisure as well. So they're here to enjoy you know, the facility. You see them a lot. You're talking to, you know, to the guests a lot. So you have a lot of interactions with them throughout their visit. And, you know, that's what it's really always about, personalizing those interactions that we have with our guests.
Yeah, I was thinking, because that's actually a very unique point, right? To make us to why to choose what you were saying, Tiffany. If you can, you know, have the experience in the front desk, then if they can do it there, they can, you know, do it anywhere. But it's also that, right? The fact that you're going to be able to gain skills in a property like this, it's amazing for also their career, and also for anything that they would want to do, right, in the future. So I think that's really, yeah, it's a really good selling point, I might say. And so Claire, if you would have any, let's say, message to the J1 candidates who are here today in our call of your experience, we've heard a little bit, but if you would have an advice or a recommendation, what would you tell them?
Wow. I think I have a lot of recommendation or advice, but the first, for the HRC program, it's really nice. Maybe you shy or scared about to go on the other part of the world. The HRC program, it's really nice, because they follow you during all your sojourn or the other part of the world, and that's can be really nice, because if you have some problem or anything, they are here for you, for exchange with you. And I think it's the same for the people they work in the grants, because it's like the people work like the second family, because you pass every time a lot of time in work. It's the work skills. But I think don't be shy, and don't hesitate to go and visiting the US, because this is a really wonderful country, especially the South, with a lot of culture of the South. I really enjoy the time here with the people when I meet, and every new people I meet is the new things when I learn. Yeah, don't be shy to exchange, and maybe I'm not directly with my advice, but if you want to send me a message or email, I'm here. And it's a pleasure to help the new and future G1 to take the first step for just go and enjoy the time on the other part of the world, for the career, for the business, and all of things like this.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Claire. Thank you. Thank you very much for your participation as well. And you still have 6 more months, right, to enjoy. So,
Yes.
so that's amazing. So take advantage of that.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
thank you for Mike, Tiffany, and Claire and Angie for answering the questions. Now we go to a Q&A, the last couple of minutes that we have for questions. So if you have any questions throughout what we've spoken about, what Tiffany, Mike, Angie, and Claire have said, if you have any questions, please you can go ahead and ask it. So we have the first question, which it says, how does the hotel balance guest satisfaction with revenue optimization? That's one of the questions the participants asked. So I don't know who would like to take on that question.
Well, I say they're tied very closely together because you satisfy your guests, they're going to come back, they're going to spend more money. You know, we create this experience that they love and are really about. So as long as we're making the guests happy, the revenue is going to be there. In my experience, it's always kind of worked that way. You take care of them, they'll take care of us.
Yeah, it's very true. Any other answer to that? Maybe Tiffany, Angie, or?
Yeah, our goal in the rooms operations is to, you know, empower our staff, you know, to be able to take care of the guests and be able to make sure that they're satisfied with their stay. And again, you know, in our guest satisfactory scores, that shows, you know, being in number 4 or, you know, number 1, like we have been in the past. You know, we get there because we build those, you know, we personalize those interactions and we build guest loyalty. So that's the important part.
Perfect. And we have another question. So it says, as hoteliers or in the hospitality industry, we understand that operational challenges are inevitable in daily hotel operations. Could you kindly share some tips or best practices on how your team overcomes these challenges and maintains a smooth service delivery? So let's start maybe with Mike first within culinary or maybe F&B, and then we'll move to Tiffany with the rooms division.
Of course, we're the ones that organize the chaos. So basically is almost taking a second to breathe sometimes. When the challenges pop up, you know, just stop, think, take a deep breath, and react calmly is kind of the best way. If you react in a panic or you're stressed, it's going to bleed into your team. It's going to be more of an issue than what it could be. So just know that challenges are coming. Know that there's going to be slip-ups. There are going to be emergencies that are going to happen. And if you can expect them to happen, you know, you'd be delighted when they don't.
Is there, Mike, is there a recent, let's say that you can think back recently of something that that you can give us as an example, let's say, of this?
I can't think of any particular instance off the top of my head, but there's always subtle emergencies. Well, we'll talk about this last weekend. We were running out of chicken tenders at the pool, so you know, an order got missed, and we were down about 60 pounds of chicken tenders. So it just took a quick car ride up to Sam's to pick up some more chicken tenders. You know, it's a vendor we don't normally use, but you know, it's what we had to do for the time being. But you know, we just had to think about what our option is. Who carries an extra 60 pounds of chicken tenders in this area? And you know, there's a solution right up the road. And figuring things out.
Yeah, and I think that as a, for example, as a guest, when they say, "Oh yeah, we had to figure all of this out," but as the guest, you know that nothing happened, right? As if nothing had happened.
Right, we never ran out. We're still selling them right now.
Yeah, that's good. And Tiffany.
Yeah, so you know, Mike's not the only one organizing chaos for sure. It's, you know, it's everywhere. You know, and you just got to be able to think creatively to resolve those issues. So getting your creative thinking going, and you know, making sure that, you know, we're keeping that guest at the forefront. Recently, we had we switched out our key, our door locks and our key system. and it wasn't working the day that they had switched it out, and we had some challenges with the programming. Of course, we had a team of people here working on that at that time, but it was just trying to stay calm and not get frustrated, and make sure that we're having those conversations with the guests and finding a way to get them in their room now so that they can enjoy their visit and it not be something that is causing any interference with their stay with us. So we are also preparing for a complete switch of our computer systems in December. Marriott switching to what we call Power of M. And so we've been on the same systems since I've been with the company for 19 years, but prior to that time. So, I'm well prepared. I'm waiting for it to happen. We know that it's going to, have its challenges. And, we're just training the team now and talking about it now, even though it's May. Look, it's coming. We know it's coming. We know we're going to have some challenges that arise throughout that time, but we'll all be here to work together as a team to make it happen.
Perfect. Yeah, I can imagine dealing with those last minutes. So we have one last question before we close. So this is for Mike. So do you have an a la carte service, and when is the service time, and how do you go about allocating people to each section?
Okay. We have many a la carte outlets. Breakfast service, lunch service, dinner. Throughout our different outlets, they're different. Bayside Grill is lunch and dinner service. Jubilee is lunch for the most part, but it does kind of bleed into dinner service a little bit. Of course, Grand Hall is our breakfast service. Local markets open all day long, and it's generally just kind of the hours of operation for different things. We schedule towards the busier times there, and just kind of allocate our workers to where they need to be and where it is, the time things. Usually when they come in, we bring them in at least 2 to 3 hours before their shift, and they can prep up their stations and get ready for service. And, as a la carte goes versus banquet or buffet operations, it's all kind of on the fly. Tickets come in, you don't know what you're going to sell, so it's on the menu. So
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mike. Well, I think those are all the questions for today. And once again, it has been a great listening to the stories, and Claire as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And actually, this is the first time that we're doing this kind of event, and we hope that we can continue doing this, because I think it's very important for candidates also to hear directly from our partners, right? Who we work with, our properties that we work with. So your feedback means a lot to us. So you guys who are here, who have signed up, help us create better experiences in the future. So if you want to scan the QR code, you can leave your feedback, and then you can share that. And then I think we have the last one. Also, if after this session, we are going to have those who already have received the link for the interview. But for those who are still maybe interested, not ready for the interview yet, but just interested in looking into more of this, you can, of course, apply directly through the QR code for Culinary or Rooms Division. Actually, is everyone okay? I would love to take a picture, just a virtual picture of what we've done here today. So once again, thank you so much for everyone who attended. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, Angie, Claire, Mike, and Tiffany. It has been amazing. It's been a pleasure just to hear what, also hear how passionate you guys are about hospitality and about what you do. And this is very inspiring to our candidates, especially those who are looking into, continue into their or start their J1 journey. So I don't know if sorry, Angie, do you have Angela, do you have a question? Or did you just raise your hand?
No, sorry, I was
Okay.
about to react. But by the way, I think there is one question that is ended up in our Q&A 5 minutes ago. I'm not sure if we answered this, but it's from Shasha. She asked, what is the minimum number of years of hospitality experience required to participate in the J1 program? So I think it's a question for us.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a question for us. So, like what we said, so depends on how your trajectory has been, if you're still students, but a minimum of 6 months in the departments where you have, which you want to apply for is good, just to lay out the kind of know that you know a little bit of what you're going to be doing as well. I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna take the picture. So if everyone can smile for me, and then let me see if I can get this right. Bear with me. All right, ready? Go. Perfect. I think I managed to do it. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. So Tiffany and Mike will